Restream's access to your Facebook account will expire soon. Don't know what that means. I'll look into that after the show. But we're streaming. We're going. We're beautiful. We're going. And let's get the show on the road as it always is. Ring Post Radio Nights, baby. Let's get into it.
It still like goes away sometimes for years.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ring Post Radio Nights. I'm your relaxing host at the evening.
I had no idea we were live.
Yeah, here we are. You thought I was just playing smooth jazz for nothing?
That's something you do.
That is something I do. That is something I do. That is accurate. That is for sure accurate. But here tonight, we got a nice Jack and Coke. No wine tonight. No wine tonight for ye old Ryan Knightsey. But I'm going Jack and Coke and a glass of ice. So I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying myself quite well tonight. But I hope we can have you all at home can have an enjoyable night for Ring Post Radio Nights. It's the Ring Post Radio Nights. Oh wait, no, I'm getting rocky. It's smooth jazz. Dee Ring Post Radio. Ring Post Radio Nights is happening for you right now. Ow. Any thoughts, Scotty?
I don't know. Been having myself a day, man. I looked at the clock. I was like, oh, frick! Now I have to go record a show. I have to get myself in the mental mindset to record a show and talk about a show that I just want to burn to the ground. Man, not this show. I don't want to burn this show to the ground.
Oh, I know what show. I've been seeing you tweet about it all day. Really,
I've been going through it. But we have a lot to talk about. We have to talk about Survivor Series. Whoa! Is that the name of it? Is it officially Survivor Series War Games?
That's correct. According to all of their stuff, they're listing it as Survivor Series War Games. So that's what it's going to be. Do you think they're going to have? Do you think they're going to have someone say War Games like that? I feel like it's too.
They had Butch do it.
Yeah, I guess that's close enough.
And he's England.
He's English. I guess that's close enough.
He's the op.
So yeah, no, we got a show tonight for you. We're talking Survivor Series, previewing that show. That's gonna be happening, of course, this Saturday. We're also gonna be talking about New Japan and STARDOM had their crossover show, the crossover Bushiroad event called Historic Crossover. This morning, really. We're also going to talk about Impact Overdrive, another Impact Plus pay-per-view to sort of continue the pulse of Impact, and seeing how you and I are sort of vibing with it, sort of feeling it out, as it were.
Yeah, I got a fun story to tell you about that later.
Ooh, that's a little tease, a little topic tease for the audience at home. But of course, we got to start off with a little news for the evening. And I think the only news that is worth really starting off the show is that during Historic Crossover, during New Japan Stardom's Historic Crossover event, following the IWGP US title match, Will Ospreay and the rest of the United Empire are celebrating, and then out of nowhere, the lights go out. And a video comes on the screen. Dynamic, huge pop from the crowd, from the Tokyo crowd, as Kenny Omega was on the screen, and it is officially set for Wrestle Kingdom 17, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. Scotty, the reason we're bringing it up today is that if you didn't hear last night's Full Gear live immediate thoughts reaction, or haven't heard the show in the past couple weeks, Scotty, boy howdy, do we got a victory lap for you.
Hey, Ryan, do you remember Do you remember last week when I said, when we were previewing the historic crossover, I said they were going to do a via satellite video of Kenny Omega after the match? I remember that.
I remember that distinctly.
Yeah, and I also remember us last night talking about, wait a minute. This 7-match series doesn't have January 4th Dynamite on it. Interesting.
You know, meanwhile, Tony Khan's like, "Oh, the big guys aren't going over."
Yeah, just the biggest guy. Not the big guys, the biggest one.
Yeah, he said plural. He wouldn't lie and say the biggest guys.
So I feel really bad because Jay White and Okada have no fucking shot. They have no shot in hell living up to that match.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. This Wrestle Kingdom card on paper already is looking like an all-time. It's already looking like an all-time, right? We got Okada and Jay White, which will be great. It will be great. I'm not gonna like sit here and act like they're doomed or anything. It'll be great. We now have Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, the maybe the most hyped match in wrestling, perhaps. Maybe number one, if not 1, 2.
For me, it's hyped up. I mean,
it has to be number one, right? The most hyped up match. Yeah, because remember the Dynamite, like when they had the tag, it's like, I feel pretty good about that one. So you have that, and then you have, spoiler alert, you have Kairi versus Tam Nakano now. You got the 4-way junior match, which is going to be great because I just love those, and the way they do those is like, you know, we watched that tag from a few weeks ago and that was great. I don't remember the show at all. What was that show?
Which show?
Autumn Battle Autumn, was that the show?
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right.
Yeah, so you got that, and then they're gonna, you know, find something for the likes of a Tanahashi and a Naito, and you know, you're gonna have FTR defending probably. Woo! What a Wrestle Kingdom!
It's happening, folks. It is happening. So I talked about it last night on the live Full Gear thoughts. Which, by the way, obviously, we're not talking about Full Gear today. If you want to hear our thoughts on Full Gear, they're on the Patreon. Patreon.com/countoutpod. What's up? Okay. Happening on there. It's available on all tiers. $1, $5, $10 tiers. You can get our thoughts there as little as $1. That's how cheap our thoughts are. Is that the plug you want to make? But you can listen to our entire thoughts about Full Gear in that hour and a half show right there. So no Full Gear, you know, review match thoughts here. You can get all of those on patreon.com/countoutpod. But yeah, no, on that, we were talking about it, how Kenny Omega, really 4 matches this year became, in my match rating calculations, the number 4 wrestler of 2022 for me. And after watching the historic crossover show today, the number 2 guys, Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, because they've been a fantastic tag team, they dropped down a little bit, and now Kenny Omega's number 2. Out of nowhere. I don't know. This man, injured all year, comes back, has 4 matches. He is my number 2 wrestler of the year based on that math. Because he's had
weird math.
It's weird math, but it's 4 4.25 plus star matches. So, you know, they are great. He's about to have probably, you know, 6 man matches for the rest of the year. They're going to all kick ass, more than likely. And then come into the new year, it's going to be my number 1, number 2, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega facing each other at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm swimming in it, baby.
Are you confident enough to say that your match of the year next year is already locked in? Like because of like that aspect, with Ospreay being 1 and Omega being 2 and Omega being healthy, I think that's very important. Do you think you could sit here and confidently say is it even for the title? I don't even know that for sure.
They didn't officially say that, but people are publicizing that's for the title, so I don't know.
Okay, doesn't matter. Could you sit here and tell me that Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom will be your match of the year? Because it feels like, by the sound of your excitement, by the sound of the way you're talking this up, you feel pretty confident it will be your match of the year.
Oh, for like 2023? Yeah. Like it is
4 days into the year. Ryan already knows his match of the year. Hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened yet. But it is, we're talking like what is the potential ceiling of this match, right? And
I don't know what Dave's gonna do.
I mean, people got all this case about breaking the star ratings, but like we're talking the ceiling of this match, right? We're talking completely healthy Kenny Omega, where he hasn't been this healthy, possibility since. Well, I was gonna say since the first Omega Okada match, maybe.
Yeah.
And even then, he was probably walking into some G1 residuals. He hasn't been allegedly this healthy since then, and Will Ospreay is at a point currently where he's having an all-time run this year. All-time Wrestler of the Year run. And then on top of that, we're talking, just Dave Meltzer star ratings, right? We're talking Dave Meltzer five-star match ratings. Will Ospreay, if I'm not mistaken, is tied. Will Ospreay is at number 2. So if he has one more match, he will tie Misawa for the most 5-star matches rated from Dave Meltzer. And if he has 2 5-star matches or plus, between now, if he has one match between there that's 5-star matches again, I don't think that's going to be happening. But I think this match also has the pinnacle of putting Will Ospreay into echelon in the same conversation with Misawa as in terms of just star ratings, right? So it is like undoubtedly, like, for me, it is not a conversation of like, oh, is this going to be a 5-star match or not? For me, it's already in the conversation of is this better or worse than Omega Okada? And that's where I'm at, and I'm loving it, baby. I'm in. I'm in. As a fan, how can you not be on board for this?
It's funny because, like, with Wrestle Kingdom, I always try to decide every year, do I want to stay up and watch it or not? Past couple of years I have. I don't know why, because there were 2 nights and they weren't as good. But I was asking myself, I was like, well, if certain wrestlers are on the card, I'll watch it. I'll watch it probably for the Stardom match.
Yeah.
But now I have to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the type of thing I know I need to watch it live, but also, is it gonna be? This is gonna sound ridiculous, but on the Dave Meltzer scale, if he only gave it 5 stars, that would be considered underwhelming, wouldn't it be?
For me, I think it's that. Yeah, I think that if in a weird way, a 5-star match might be underwhelming. Like, legitimately, and maybe it's unfair for me to, as a fan of all this stuff, to say and put it at that high of an expectation. But I think between Omega and the Okada series, the year Ospreay has been having, the fucking 4 matches that Omega has had, and the matches he will be having presumably, I don't know if it's unfair, but it feels right to be like, yeah, 5 stars might be underwhelming. We're talking conversation of like one of the best matches of all time, and that is like one of the best modern matches, at the very least, of all time. And that is like the ceiling for this match. And that is, maybe that's not the bar I should be hitting, but that is ultimately the ceiling of this match, of putting currently 2 of the best wrestlers in the world, arguably 2 of the best wrestlers in the world right now, in a match together. I mean, how can you not? And we already know they have chemistry too. How can you not be on board, ready for a 35-minute all-time epic classic?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think Kenny Omega's like maybe the most creative wrestler I've ever seen. And that's kind of, so I was thinking about this last night, and you know, we reviewed a whole show, so I didn't really talk about this mostly because I was exhausted. But this this match, or not this match, this version of Kenny, right?
Yeah.
You can see the differences between his last like 2 years before coming back from injury
Yes.
and this version,
Yeah.
because he had to lean on his staples so heavily then. Like
Yeah.
he had to lean on the V triggers almost an exceeding amount of the time, right?
Mhm.
Because it was something easier for him to do. He had to lean on all those staples rather than getting more creative
L-
because his body was broken down.
and
I
also
watched him
use
last.
use tag team wrestling as a way to
Right,
hide the broken body a little bit, right?
exactly. I watch him, you know, in these trios matches. I'm like, this dude is a completely different man.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. And he was great. Don't get me wrong, he was great. I'm not actually as high on his world title reign as people. Which is like
I think
me saying he still had a great reign. It's just like you didn't get that Kenny Omega.
correct.
That makes sense. And now we've had 4 of them in 4 matches. So you know, we know the difference. But this is just so exciting. If you are unable to sit here and not be excited about this one, you probably hate Will Ospreay, so that's probably the start.
Yeah.
Or you hate the Elite. Those are 2 different hates.
Two different factions.
2 different hates. And you know what's funny? People hate Will Ospreay because they hate Will Ospreay. I think some people just hate the Elite because they hate the fans of the Elite. I don't think it's the Elite anymore.
Mhm.
It's really hard to hate Kenny Omega though. This guy is like the purest mother trucker in the world.
I feel like if people don't
He
like
got
the
bit by a man while saving a dog.
I think I think if people don't like the Elite, it really stems from like Young Bucks,
The Young Bucks,
which
absolutely.
I don't think is fair, but you know, it is what it is, I guess.
Right. I mean, I just think, you know, Kenny's gonna go down as not only one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but one of he's already in that all time great conversation.
Yeah.
But now he's healthy.
Yeah. And now he's
gonna keep painting a wonderful picture, and this is the biggest match of next year by far. It's gonna be hard to top. I think AEW gets one too.
Yeah,
Forbidden Door or something.
Well, I tweeted about it as well. That's a good guess as well. But I tweeted about the idea of like, you know, remember during Forbidden Door and all these dynamites and stuff, like people online complaining, you know, what is New Japan getting out of this? It's like, well, they just got a fucking gate, dude. They're gonna get tickets sold. They're gonna get all this stuff. So I think,
I mean, it's Wrestle Kingdom, so like obviously the tickets are gonna be sold already.
Sure,
but this is the cherry on top. You know what this is reminiscent of? This card.
mm-hmm.
That show where it was Naito and Okada, and Naito didn't win
the first one
because
so
Kenny and
was the first one, but
second one, third, I don't. They've had a lot, dude.
Yeah.
And it was Kenny and Jericho before them,
mm-hmm.
and that kind of took all the headlines.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're gonna get this time around.
And I'm into it, man. I'm excited for Wrestle Kingdom. I'm ready. I'm willing. I am deciding whether I'm going to work. Another AEW news as well. It was announced on Friday, or no, it was announced. I guess, well, I think it was Friday. It was either Friday or Saturday that Konosuke Takeshita has officially signed with All Elite Wrestling. Now, what that means is for him is that he is still going to be a DDT wrestler in Japan, but when it's in the States, he's working for AEW. So they finally locked that down. We're able to come to an agreement to have Takeshita officially on board. So now he's officially on board. Expect the push. Expect the push to come, man. I think we're no title around the corner. That's really where we're looking at.
That man is winning the All Atlantic and having himself a run.
Yeah.
He feels like the guy that beats Cassidy. He also just, you know, I mean, you talked about who's that guy who's the next guy you build to, right? The young guy like MJF was, and I was like, well, I'm not saying for sure, but it could be him.
There's a good chance.
He's a talented guy. His English is getting better noticeably. He said when Renee welcomed him on like tweet, he's like, "I'm gonna get better at English so we can do more interviews." So I was like, "Dude, you don't have to do that, but we appreciate it." Though I thought he did pretty good at his. He did 2 over the past week. He did one on Rampage for him in June, and then he did like the welcome one on 0 Hour.
Yeah.
But this guy, the sky's the limit for Takeshita. He came into America as a guy that I watched in DDT. He was the champion right before he came over.
Yep.
Before losing it, and he lost it, then came over. He had hits, he had misses. He didn't feel like the complete product that your number one top ace type guy should be.
Yep.
He almost had a Kiyomiya effect about him in some ways. Not like Muto syndrome, but he just couldn't click it.
Sure.
Came to America, oh my god, he clicked instantly.
Yeah.
And he's been a different wrestler since. So I think there is something to say about him just coming here and getting work in with so many different types of opponents rather than staying in just the small ecosystem that was DDT. And sky's the limit. I can't wait to see where he goes. Him and Kenny Omega are going to have one hell of a match because those two have a long history together.
Yeah.
I think Takeshita's first ever title win. It was him and Tetsuya Endo against, or not first ever title win, but his first big one was him and Tetsuya Endo against the Golden Lovers. So there's plenty of history there. And that's when Takeshita was small and like scrawny.
As the tag team champions is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking that up right now. Yeah, it was beating the Golden Lovers, Omega and Ibushi.
And that's how Takeshita came over the first time too. Remember when they did the few dark shows?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's happening.
Yeah, no, I think Takeshita's a great move, a great pickup. That's someone we've already talked about that last year or earlier this year. It feels like last year, but it's early this year. Takeshita has just been really showcasing himself well on television and to the American audience, and everyone has been loving him and wanting to see more out of him. This is how we're going to see more out of him in AEW, and I'm excited to see what will come of this. I think you're right. I think an All-Atlantic title is in his future. I think that's a good idea, or at least it's a reign I would like to see. I think he is a guy that, on the Full Gear review, we talked about a lot journeys and destinations in terms of title pictures. Or not journeys, but is the end, the destination of the journey. Yeah, no, journey, destination. But I think he is a guy that the title reign is definitely like part of the journey. And that destination of eventually being a world title person, I think is totally possible for him. And yeah, I do think he will have to have better English at the very least. Just because of how promo heavy this company is, especially at the top of the card. That's just, how American wrestling is for us over here. And so I would love for him to do that. Worst case scenario, you just slap a manager on him and then you can sell him that way. But I think ultimately, Takeshita is going to be sky's the limit. I think currently for Takeshita, I think ultimately sky's the limit for Takeshita. So I'm excited to see where we're going with this guy, what's to come from it. Other bits of news.
They made some really good signings.
Yes,
recently. Him, Bandito.
The two of them wrestling.
Renee. Yeah, that's the tweet that
the three of them wrestling.
That's the tweet that keeps coming back to me. People keep commenting. So I tweeted that out. I don't remember when I tweeted that out.
It was like a week ago, maybe.
The Bandito Konosuke thing.
Yeah,
it was like a month and a half ago now.
Oh dang.
Yeah, but people keep bringing it up, so it feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I feel that maybe that's where I see it.
So I didn't see the Takeshi thing, and I saw people tweeting on that again. I was like, why is this? Why? And then I was like, oh, Tony Khan wants my $25. He's not getting.
Well, first it was Ricky Starks, and now it's Takeshi and Bandito. So I think now
he's listening to me. I'm starting to think he listens to Ring Post Radio. Tony Khan, if you're listening to me here, hear me out. One, come on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'll happily let you talk up your show, your shows that you do on every other podcast. I'll happily let you do that.
Yep.
And two, I got some ideas. So
we got some pitches. I'm gonna ask him what his Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame ballot was, and if CM Punk was on it still. I think that's a good question. I think that's a good question to ask him. I think he can answer that one. I think he can answer that one.
That one screams to me, absolutely.
Yeah,
why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
Well, I can give you a few reasons.
That's why I'm specifically adding the word "still." But yeah, let's talk about the new other news bits. Was trademark news. You know, trademark news not necessarily means anything too much, but the one that piqued. That's fun. The one that piqued a lot of interest was a company called Solnado Inc. Filed the following trademarks November 10th: Mercedes Monet, Money Talks, Bank Money, MONE apostrophe, and Statement Maker, all for wrestling based trademarks. So the belief is that this Solnado company is Vernado or Mercedes Vernado, I believe her last name is. And maybe some people maybe suggest that maybe the Sol part is Kalisto, Samurai del Sol. That was I saw that tweet floating around as an idea, but it's certainly possible. They're friends. Maybe they're business partners. Who knows? But at the very least, it looks like Sasha Banks, maybe formerly known as Sasha Banks, might be picking up some trademarks. Does that really tell us which way she's leaning in terms of contract status or becoming a free agent or all this stuff? Not necessarily. I think at the very least she is prepping for which way she goes. I think she's creating trademarks in case she wants to go out and do her own thing, or in case she goes back to WWE, she'll just let those trademarks go and she will become Sasha Banks again. Do you have any real thoughts or takes on this trademark filing?
No. I probably did it one time, but let's just wait till the new year. That's what she's told us. That's what we know. We've had to wait till January to see if anything happens, whether it be, and I'm waiting until War Games too.
Yeah,
because that's the other location that may or may not make sense.
I think you're talking War Games, but ultimately I think a bitter thing for WB for me would be Royal Rumble there. That's an easy one, a classic. But maybe it's early January. Maybe she's gonna hop on some sort of show January 1st, 2nd, 3rd. I don't know. Maybe January 4th. I guess we'll find out. Let's move on and talk about Survivor Series War Games. Let's preview War Games happening this Saturday on Peacock, or the WWE Network if you're outside the States. But it is happening this Saturday. There's obviously, I'm going to guess there's going to be more matches announced because there's only currently at time of recording 4 matches announced for Survivor Series.
I'm sure not too many more.
Not too many more. I would imagine maybe 1, maybe 2. But I think ultimately...
I can't tell you what's going on WWE TV to tell you if we're getting any more. So
we'll find out at the very least. But we have 4 matches announced at times of recording, so we'll go over that right now. I think we'll start off with we'll end with the War Games matches. So we'll start off with this one. AJ Styles versus Finn Balor in a singles match. We brought in Mia Yim into the fold with the club. AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson. Instead of having some sort of big 8-man tag, we're just doing Styles and Finn Balor on the pay-per-view. So it's going to be Styles, Finn Balor. Obviously, lots of history with them in terms of international wrestling, but at least with the club. But I think here, I don't know. You would think here that this finally could be the end of the club versus Judgment Day. It feels like this has been happening for a while now. With the 2 leaders finally going at it, but I guess we will find out. What do you think about Finn Balor versus AJ Styles?
About 3, 4, 5 years ago, I'd be pretty hyped. Here in 2022, a lot of me couldn't care. Nothing excites me about AJ Styles in 2022.
Yeah.
At all. Haven't seen AJ Styles have a great match in years. Haven't seen Finn have a great match since NXT, maybe. his second run.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, definitely.
His Kyle matches.
Mm-hmm.
His match with Kyle. Yeah, I think the OC stinks. I think Judgment Day is awful. Really, really can't wait for all that interference and stuff on the outside to ruin this match.
You got Mia Yin there to even it up a little bit.
Well, her and Rhea are in War Games.
That's true. So they might not even be there. It might not even be a matter to bring Mia Yin at all.
We might just have to see Dominic instead. So torture. Yeah. As you can tell, I'm jumping for joy.
Talk about a Raw singles match right there. Dominic versus Luke Gallows. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of match I want to see. Did they not just
do that? I feel like they just did that.
I don't know if they have, but I don't want to see Carl Anderson. I want to see Gallows versus Dominic. That's really what I want to.
No matter what, it'll be awful because Dominic's bad. Yeah. I'm supposed to pick someone to win? Maybe.
Sure. Thinking and they just to clarify, they have not done Doc Gallows versus Dominic Mysterio, so that's money on the table.
I'll pick AJ, I guess.
I think now that the women are out of the picture, since Rhea Ripley was really the one causing a lot of the issues, I think you're right that AJ Styles will get the win, and this might be the ending of the Judgment Day feud.
I doubt it. We'll still have to do an 8-person tag at day 1.
The pay-per-view that doesn't exist anymore.
All right, they got rid of that.
I think it's now a house show. A
slap in the face. So is this the last pay-per-view until Royal Rumble?
Correct. At the time of recording, unless they randomly add something, which won't be happening, this is the last pay-per-view until now in late January.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing.
Like a blessing in disguise. Well, they have Deadline.
Well, yeah, but that's more NXT. So unless they really load that up, which
they won't,
they could. I wouldn't be.
They have the crazy ass matches on them.
Yeah, like Mandy Rose versus
Iron Survival Challenge.
The Iron Soul Survivor or something like that. Because it's a multi-person match.
I'm always in for terrible stip matches that are gonna be an absolute mess. I'm always in for it. There's 2 of them on the show, so tough. If it was only 1, it would probably be really enjoyable. But now that there's 2, the first one will be fun. The second one will be like, all right, this is bad.
I feel like if you're gonna try out stipulation matches, you just do the 1 and see if it works. Don't do 2 and waste up probably 2 hours. An hour of your pay-per-view time.
25 minutes, right?
Oh yes, there's a time limit. You're right. There is a time limit. Yeah. But yeah, still, you're talking like an hour. The 5 minutes of entrances and stuff. You're talking an hour of your pay-per-view time with a match that you don't even know will work in the room.
I do think you should try matches in NXT, and then if they work,
completely agree. I think NXT is a good spot to invent match types.
Match.
Yes,
it's kind of like how baseball does trials in minor league baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just be like, "Yeah, we don't know if this is gonna work, so we're just gonna stick you guys with this. Let me know how it goes."
Yeah,
and I think it's smart.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Do I think this match stipulation is a good idea? Not
it's just King of the Mountain without the ladder.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe that's a better idea.
Slightly tempting.
Which, yeah, I think honestly that might be a better version of King of the Mountain, but we'll find out, I guess. But that's Deadline. We'll talk about that down the road. But right now we're going to talk about the singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Scotty, I know for a fact you're excited for this. It was during a SmackDown show where Shotzi won a 6-pack challenge to earn a women's title shot, and she's getting it. So it's going to be Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey at the pay-per-view. Give me that excitro meter. I want to hear, Scotty, how excited you are for this match.
You should have seen my face when I saw this, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm going to be at that show."
Yes, you are at the show live. You will be at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I'll have my full thoughts the next day. Well, how about that? Bringing in the hype or the sadness or whatever. Actually, I think the War Games, at least one of them, will be good. So that's hope. Mm-hmm. This won't. This is going to be awful. This is a train wreck waiting to happen. I gave Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan a dud the last time they wrestled, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'm very prepared to do the same here. Though if they were smart, they just have Ronda win in like 10 seconds.
Just
no offense to Shotzi, but like let's stop acting here.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't put Shotzi in some sort of tag team situation.
The women's division is so bad on SmackDown. I was looking at this the other day because I saw someone tweet this out, and I obviously don't pay attention, so I don't know the difference. But just play the game with me here. We don't have that much to go over, so you can play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Raw women's division first. I'll do that one. So Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Carmella, Dakota Kai, Dana Brooke, Doudrop, Io Sky, Mia Yim, Nikki Cross, Rhea Ripley, and Tamina. I didn't say Bianca Belair, but she's also on there, obviously.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There,
that's pretty good.
A good mixture of a roster. You got some highs, you got some lows, upper card, mid card, lower card people. It's a good roster.
A lot of the bright spots from when NXT's women's division was really good.
Mm-hmm.
With Rhea, Io, Dakota,
Bianca,
Candice, Bianca, like that's pretty much your main core anyways. This is the SmackDown.
You're right. He does. The Raw is NXT's women's roster from a couple years ago.
Yeah. The SmackDown roster is a absolute train wreck. Aaliyah, B-Fab, Charlotte Flair, who is MIA.
Yep.
Emma, Lacey Evans, Liv Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
It says Naomi, but no.
But we all know the truth.
Natalia.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot. Maxine Dupree. I don't know if she wrestles, but she is on here.
I don't think she does.
Ronda Rousey. Sarah Logan.
Oh, God.
It says Sasha Banks. We know that's not true. Scarlett. Shayna Baszler. Shotzi. Sonya Deville. Xia Li. And Zelina Vega.
You know, when Triple H was bringing back all of these wrestlers to WWE, especially all these female talent wrestlers to WWE, he could have decided to move any of them to SmackDown. He could have been like, yeah, we'll have Mia Yim on SmackDown, we'll have Candice on SmackDown, and then we'll do that. They could have done that. And instead, he just loaded up Raw, a classic Vince McMahon move. Loaded up Raw, and SmackDown gets whatever's left that he doesn't know what to do with.
It's
and by the way, he does know what to do with, because I've also seen a tweet that really went into the idea of every single person that has had a challenge to Ronda Rousey or Liv Morgan in the past several months has won a 6-pack challenge on SmackDown for like the past 4 challenges. It is not just a bad roster of a lot of not stars. Like Ronda's really the biggest star, but she is not currently at all. She's just another person on the roster here. Not only do you have no stars, but none of them are that great at wrestlers. You also have booking malpractice of lack of creativity up and down this roster, because you're just booking 6-pack challenges over and over again.
Sorry, I forgot Raquel Rodriguez. I'm so sorry.
How dare you?
But it's bad. It's really bad. And what's funny is that SmackDown is usually the better show.
You would think that.
It is, because you have this is how they book these shows. They say, okay, we're gonna put all our little like indie people that people loved in NXT on Raw, and then we're just gonna put Roman Reigns on SmackDown, and that's good, and it works because you have Gunther too, and Sheamus, and you have a crew there.
The men's roster there is doing great stuff.
I mean, there's only like 5 of them, but it's doing great. That's the problem. There's like SmackDown has a really bad roster.
Yeah,
but they have Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So they fight around it a little bit. Also,
but it would be a
fun
better
fact-
roster. It would also be a better roster if it was well booked, and the women's
Yeah.
roster in SmackDown is just not well booked.
Oh, it's terrible.
You're doing the same
Bray
stuff
Wyatt's
over
picture,
again.
by the way, is still the feed
Great.
on WWE.com.
Great.
So just wanted to say that. We can move on. I'm done talking about the roster.
It is booking lack of creativity for the women's roster, and it's very tough to see that.
It's a lack of talent as well.
That's true. That might be true.
I can't sit here and lie.
We'll move right into the women's War Games match. Speaking of the rest of the women's roster,
the Raw women's roster. It's good.
Yep. Yeah. You want to talk about how good the Raw women's roster? We got the women's War Games match: Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, and TBD. You don't know who that TBD is gonna be. Versus,
it would be funny for Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks
adding her to the Raw roster.
The worst idea. Versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley. Who do you think to the TBD is going to be, and what are your thoughts on this match?
The TBD, I don't think it's actually going to be Sasha. That's important. I don't think it's going to be Sasha. I don't think it's going to be Naomi.
No. I think the obvious one is Becky Lynch.
Yeah, she's healthy. It's Becky.
Which I presume she is. I mean, she's out. Remember, it was her elbow, if I'm not mistaken. She's out here flexing on set of the Young Rock. I think she's might be good. She's just coming back from New Zealand.
That. You never know. I don't know when she recorded that.
Well, she's. Yeah, I guess that's true. She would be posting late videos, but I believe it's happening. It's filming now.
It's got to be Becky. Who else is going to be?
Yeah, Becky's the only person that makes sense in the story as well. It'd just be jumping in like a random person, like Sasha, which would be huge, but not a good idea, I think.
Someone made a good point to me of why Roxanne Perez wasn't on the main roster. And it's that she just turned 21.
Yeah.
So, like, that was probably what they were waiting for. I think she'd be cool. It won't be her.
No. If I learned anything from watching that spin the wheel, make the deal match, where it was a violent, showcase of brutality, Roxanne does not have a violent bone in her body, so I don't think a War Games match would be a good showcase for talent like that.
But I'm also not going to blame her for that one because of who she was facing. Anyways, because that was train wreck. As I was saying before, you just confused me. I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh, the match itself. I think it'll be pretty good. It's very reminiscent of that first War Games women's match. It's like almost the exact same group to a T.
And I thought that match was great. That first women's War Games match.
That was the best women's match by far that they've had War Games wise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, again, let me see that exact lineup.
It's a real good lineup, like you said.
I got it right here.
Most of them are the same.
Is this the first one?
I believe that was the Dakota Kai turn.
Yeah. All right, ready? It was Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae. Check. Candice isn't in it, but Candice if she was healthy, but I know she's hurt. Tegan Knox, Dakota Kai. All right, so that's 2. Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, and Kaylee Ray. So you checked a lot of boxes there in terms of having 4 from the original one. Io's been all of them, by the way. I don't know if people have realized that.
They need someone to do a moonsault off the cage.
Yeah, well, I read someone say expect like a lot of crazy things because they need footage from the main roster.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, that's fair.
So it should be good. But yeah, I think this match will be really entertaining, really good. I mean, Damage Control couldn't be more in the gutter in terms of booking, but that's what this company is.
Yeah,
is what it is. I'm here to watch a good match, not to watch good booking. If I wanted to do that, I wouldn't try. I just wouldn't try.
Now, I think for me, Becky Lynch is the biggest obvious pick of a return you could have. That would really get the Boston crowd, really get the Scotty Edwards crowd off their feet to have Becky Lynch return. I
want to be on their feet. Why would you want me off my feet?
I want you to fall over in excitement. No, I think Becky Lynch is an obvious good pick. If you want to go a deep cut, I think Tegan Knox could be fun. If she's healthy and able to be picked up, I think Tegan Knox could be fun. Dakota Kai's on the other side, but that would be really for half the audience in the crowd, the NXT crowd.
It'd be me.
It'd be you. In half the arena, everyone else would be like, who? I think that's another thing that people forget, that NXT was like at its peak, half the audience that like WWE would get, that main roster Raw would get. Like, so when people were like surprised that like the crowd had no idea who Tommaso Ciampa was, it was like, yeah, because like half the main roster crowd watches NXT.
Yay.
So I think that's where we got. But I do think Becky Lynch is a good pick. If it's anything like the first Women's War Games match, this should be pretty good. I think there's a chance it could be similar to that. But they
have the talent in it.
I agree. They have the talent in there, and I think adding Becky Lynch could be good. Yeah.
There's less bad than good in the match, if that makes sense. Like,
well, yeah,
if you look at the competitors,
it's the Raw women's. It's the Raw women's roster, is what you're saying. Yeah. Is that there's less.
Yeah. Bad. I mean,
really dunking on the SmackDown women's roster today.
It's really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really bad, and it's led by Ronda Rousey. What do you want me to do, dude? Listen, we just spent last night talking about how bad 2 women's matches were. I think we could. It's okay. It's okay
to continue to continue talking about other women's rosters.
If it helps, I just shout on AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. I could do this all night. But this should be. I think this will be great. I actually do. I think they're gonna probably start the show off. It's gonna be hot, red hot. Great way to start it. Who wins? Probably the mystery person.
Yeah, I think that's the easy.
It's, assuming it's a bigger name and not Tegan Knox. No offense. It'll be the bigger person.
I don't like TBDs in my War Games matches. By the way, I'm not a fan.
It was great the last time.
Yeah, because it was Kevin Owens last time?
Yeah.
I don't like it because like the psychology of it is off for me. Like, the idea of the heels having the advantage is always what you want in a War Games match. And they'll have it, probably, if they
what's the match they're doing to
They're doing Rhea Ripley versus
Mia
Yim, I believe. I believe that is the match. I just saw it.
It's Asuka.
Rhea Ripley versus Asuka, and then
rematch.
And then for the men's advantage match, it's the Usos versus Sheamus.
Yeah, that might kick ass. I'm not gonna lie.
That might kick ass. But also the idea is that the heels,
Asuka and Rhea could be pretty good.
I agree. I think the idea though is that the heels will have the advantage for War Games. So
they have to.
They have to for the psychology.
The match doesn't work if it's the other way around. It never does.
And the reason to that point though, the reason I don't like TBDs is because the idea of now the heels have sort of lost an advantage because they don't know who that TBD is going to be. They can't prepare for that fifth person. So the advantage kind of goes out the window.
I live for the surprise, though.
But it's WWE.
This is American wrestling to a T. Yeah. They love the X. They don't do X. They do TBD vacant. But they love the X. And you know what? I'm going to say it. Fans love the X too. They love not. Like a lot of the time, people just like the surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not saying it's a bad
in terms of your understanding, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm saying I understand why the X is important for WWE, and the X is important because what are you going to do when you run out of pops? But for me, it's just the psychology of it. It's just a little off.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm happy the men's match, they didn't wait.
I agree.
Like, here you go.
The men's match looking real fine. We're talking the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, the Usos, Jimmy and Jey Usos versus Sheamus, Ridge Holland, Butch, Drew McIntyre, and presumably will officially be a healthy Kevin Owens.
Yeah, he's in the poster.
He's in the poster, but I'm saying like healthier than where he was at.
Yeah. I actually watched that segment from SmackDown, and it was really good.
Yeah.
The like closing segment. They did Sami Zayn and Butch in the World Cup thing.
Mm-hmm.
Butch beat Sammy. Then the beatdown goes. Roman comes out. He wasn't out there because of course he wasn't out there. he walks down. It's pretty cool. Because Roman and I give this credit to Roman all the time. He does feel so much bigger than everyone else. So it's like, oh my god. But when that Kevin Owens music hit, you're like, the crowd lost it. They were chanting "Holy shit," and they had to bleep it all out. And I was like, well, that sucks.
Yeah,
crowd's going off their freaking rails for your damn surprise here, and I can't hear. But they're gonna play to the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens story. That's gonna be fun to watch. You have a lot of good wrestlers in here again. Sheamus has been off his shit.
Yeah.
To say the least.
You might be excited. You might be excited about Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns or whatever. I'm not excited about that anymore.
Sheamus versus Roman Reigns.
Well, I was gonna say you might be excited about Kevin Owens versus Roman and the prize fighter, but really the match to see is Sheamus versus Roman Reigns. That is,
yeah. That's why he's at the head of the poster.
Yeah, that's why he should be at the head of the table. He has. Sheamus has done incredible stuff, and I fear that they're going to be.
I kind of love the brawling brutes. Never thought I'd say that.
Me too. I kind of fear that because it's Triple H, he's going to be pushing Kevin over Sheamus. But really, you should be doing Sheamus because the energy he's on right now is unmistakable. It is really, really great. You can really connect to it. He's doing great babyface work. Babyface brute work.
Accidentally, almost.
Stumbled upon it, and he's been doing great stuff with that. Yeah, and
Look
and
at
maybe
both title matches.
What's that?
They're gonna get both title matches out of it. I just hope the Sheamus one's a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think Sheamus would be a solid Royal Rumble. Honestly, I think Sheamus would be a real solid Royal Rumble.
We know they can push it off.
They can push it off. I think Sheamus is a real good Royal Rumble spot, honestly. Yeah. You can have Kevin go into the Rumble. Ultimately, we probably have an idea of who's going to win that Royal Rumble.
The smoking mirrors.
I would also say I would imagine pre The Rock's winning the Royal Rumble. How great would that be if Cody is number one, goes the entire way,
and The Rock eliminates him?
Yeah, it's just we do like the whole Ric Flair coming in at number 2, lasting the entire time, but we have to swerve you. So instead of Ric Flair winning at number 30, The Rock comes out, tosses Cody Rhodes out of the ring, and then just stands up, and that's that.
And people would love it because it's The Rock. That's the one person you could have do that, and it wouldn't have anyone get angry.
Yeah, except the True Marks being like, "What the fuck?" All right. Yeah, no.
They need a good Royal Rumble this year after last year's absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, and they have the potential. They have the Cody return. They have the potential Sasha Banks return. They have ideas at the very least, maybe with Sasha Banks.
Let's not give them that much credit.
I know. The match itself still has to be good. Just because you have a pop and a surprise doesn't mean the match itself is.
Rhea Ripley's probably winning the women's one.
I think that's a good pick. I think that's a solid pick. Based on the year that they've been given her, but we'll get to that. We'll get there. I think I think we'll really tell down the road. I think, if anything, we'll get a little bit of maybe seeds dropped in the women's and men's Survivor Series stuff. Maybe it's someone pinning Roman. Won't be. It'll be like Solo or whatever. This would be the perfect time for someone to pin Roman. Just to set
Who's
up.
Pinned Roman? Anyone? Didn't Xavier Woods pin Roman? I think he did in a tag.
Yeah, maybe.
Shout out Xavier Woods.
But this would be the perfect time. It's a non-title multi-man stuff. This would be the perfect time for a Sheamus to pin Roman Reigns to set up a Roman Royal Rumble match or something. But we'll find out. I guess. I think we'll get a little.
Won't get my hopes up.
Little bit. We'll get a little teases maybe, but we'll find out more this Saturday on Peacock.
Hey, good sell.
Yes, thank you. I get $2 every time someone signs up for Peacock. I'm not making a lot of money. Also happening that happened today. Let's talk about New Japan and Stardom's historic crossover. At their historic X-Over show. This was the Bushiroad pitch of, hey, New Japan fans, hey, international fans, we got a great product in Stardom over here. We really want you to check it out. And this is our plea to you all to check out Stardom. So with that in mind, do you think the historic crossover show really lived up to that idea? Do you think this show really sold Stardom to the New Japan fan base, and more importantly, that international fan base?
I don't know how it couldn't have, because Stardom was far and away the best part of this show in terms of match quality, in terms of effort, in terms of care. And I understand I'm the Stardom guy, so it's going to come off as like, but like, it was clear to me. Unless you were watching something different than I was, it felt evident from the very beginning how this show was going to go. And I thought the mixed tags worked in their favor. I thought those were a lot of fun in the middle of the card. Pretty much all the New Japan matches, except the Osprey one, were bad, if not just there. So I think that was part of the problem too. Actually, I didn't mind the opener with House of Torture, but that's because Leo Rush and Yo were good.
Yeah, they really showcased the tag team
very
potential.
Exciting.
Yeah,
very exciting because Tag League starts tomorrow. Leo Rush is so good, by the way. Yeah. I miss him dearly. Happy he's in Japan now. But I don't know how you watch this and don't walk away impressed by Stardom if you are a fan. Now, yeah, women's wrestling's always going to get. There are people that look at it differently, and they may not admit it, but you can just tell when people review shows how much they do. Like, people will just be tossing out like star ratings, and they'll be like, "Oh, this match was good," and I'll be like, "What?" And I thought, in terms of the main event, while I am not happy about the choice, I thought they absolutely lived up to the billing, lived up to the spot. This was the biggest crowd Stardom show has ever had.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was 7,000 plus.
Yeah, 7,100 something, 102 or something like that. It was packed house.
Yeah,
packed house. It beat the Yuzuki Aikawa retirement show, which was about 5,500 in Sumo Hall, maybe. I don't know. I don't. Off the top of my head, I don't know. But that's good. And if that's the reason they run these back, that wouldn't be shocking. If they do run it back, oh boy, do I have some fixes for them. But I also think anything that involves Stardom was great. Anything that involves Stardom and New Japan together was great. The New Japan stuff was, they treated this. I think they should have treated this a little higher than they did.
Yeah,
in some ways, or changed the way the card was designed. That would have been better too.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just right now looking at Cage Match and looking at other shows happening in New Japan. This was, if I'm not mistaken, a big arena as well. This is the Ariake Arena. This is a former Olympic building that Noah had, ran that Tanahashi Muto tag match. They ran that show in. So it was a new arena as well. The first time arena for New Japan, obviously, since this is the second wrestling event to happen in that arena.
Venue.
So new big venue for Japanese audiences. But I'm trying to look at to see just get we're talking 7,000 fans here, obviously 7,100 fans here. Declaration of Power was Korakuen, Ryogoku Korakuen. Best of Super Juniors finals. That was in Budokan Hall, 3,500 people. To also be fair, I think this show had less of a. I don't know if it had less of a COVID restriction. I shouldn't say that. I don't know for certain.
I never know the restrictions anymore.
Budokan for the anniversary event earlier this year was a 3,000 person gate. Compared to ye old Wrestle Kingdom, Tokyo Dome. Ready for this? Tokyo Dome Night 2, main event, of course. It was Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay. According to the Cage Match, 6,300 fans in attendance.
So what you're saying is what I knew already is that Mayu Iwatani's a bigger draw. All right, cool. Sounds good.
To be fair, that was the night two.
Yeah.
Usually January 4th is the bigger one, which it was. It was 12,000. So there is that. But no, it's just looking at this. I don't know
It's
if it was.
impressive.
It might have been. It might have been. Don't quote me on this. I have to do a lot more research, but it might have been the second biggest gate for New Japan this year. Don't quote me on this, but might have been. There's interest. Stardom fans showed up.
There's interest. Stardom fans showed up. The Stardom roster showed up. Like you said, Sayu got screwed.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to, but
yeah,
I do think overall the show was good. Like as much, and part of me is complaining because I was so tired when I had to see Lij stroll out there against Gideon Gray, and I was like, "This is ridiculous. Why is this happening now? Why did this not happen at the beginning of the show?"
Yeah,
because the mixed tags were so much fun,
yeah,
and so interesting, and then you hit me with these two things. I'm like, "Come on, man."
Yeah, it's the tough thing of shows like this where it's just the mid card area is just a bunch of tags that don't really matter. But let's talk about the main event. Let's talk about the match that helped draw 7,000 gate. Which
Draw.
you got it. You put it on their backs. They're the main event. They were in the announced main event. 7,100 people. Kairi versus Mayu Iwatani. This was, of course, for the inaugural IWGP Women's Title match, a title that is, of course, inaugural champion. Always also going to draw as well, and was really up in the air. So I think this helped draw the whole pay per view as a whole. But Kairi ultimately was able to defeat Mayu Iwatani, in I believe 20 plus minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Where Kairi, of course, delivered that elbow to win and become the first ever IWGP Women's Champion. Scotty, before you really get into your disparaging well of emotions, let's talk about the match itself, because I thought this match was great. I thought this was a really good match. This, we're talking
lived up to the spot.
Lived up to the spot. We're talking about this idea of the Stardom wrestlers showing up. I thought they had a better match than Ospreay and Shota. Not by much, but a little bit better.
Goddamn right they did.
I thought this was a very outstanding match between the two of them. A lot of it was like watching the Storm Hater match. Just a lot of hard hitting action. That's all I want to see. If you like Storm Hater, you're gonna like Kairi versus Mayu Iwatani, and that's what they gave. Obviously, they have a lot of history, a lot of chemistry, and it really shined through this match. What did you think of this match?
The match itself was tremendous. It was everything it needed to be in terms of the action, and the spot that they were given. They told the story very easily of, if I don't even know how much you have to follow Stardom to kind of know that Mayu Iwatani, despite all of her accomplishments, despite all her accolades, still was the underdog in the match, right? Kairi's the big star who left for WWE and
became a star, bigger star,
became a universal star, I should say. Keep it WWE lingo, of course.
I appreciate it.
And
I'm gonna get this peacock subs up.
And came back and just has that aura that very few have in Japan, let alone in Joshi.
Yeah.
And I understand where they went with this. I understand why they did this. It doesn't take that smart of a person to connect the dots of why they did it. But with the history and with the purpose of the title and what they were trying to do with it, it's hard to not still be upset. Despite, again, the match being fantastic, I thought this was by far, to me, the best Kairi match since she's been back. It trumped the Saya Kamatani match from the day before. It it was another classic Mayu performance where she takes a lot of punishment, she hands out a lot of punishment, she comes back, she comes back, she comes back. Does she always win? Not necessarily, but she comes back, she comes back, she comes back, and you're so locked in, and like I was, I was locked in just as much as anyone, if not more, because I legitimately wanted someone to win. But I don't know how you watch this and don't walk away impressed by Stardom, impressed by both of them.
Yeah.
Because it was you couldn't have had a better match in this spot.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. It was the perfect match to set up to have this inaugural championship reign. Mayu obviously went out there and killed it, and herself.
She had the red gear, Ryan. She had the red championship gear.
Yeah, she had the matching attire. We all know what that means. We all know what that
she's
means.
on her A game.
But it was just the overall star that really was able to get the win there. So I think there's it's a great match here, but there's always a second one. There's always a second one around the corner.
I understand why they did it. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they did it. But the story that they were telling going into this match was Mayu Iwatani's never been the 1st
Mm-hmm.
champion of something. She's done everything.
Yep.
She's won everything in Stardom
Yep.
multiple times over. She's Stardom's greatest wrestler, but she's never been the 1st. So, you kind of build that underdog mold, and you kind of felt it going into the match. You really felt it in the match because, Kairi smacked her with how many spinning back fists? Like
several?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. They got harder and harder each time.
Yeah.
That last one was, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's upsetting, but it's hard to let me rephrase. It's upsetting for me as a fan because she deserved that accolade. She didn't leave Stardom.
Mm-hmm.
She stayed there. She saved their asses like 150 times when Io left and Kairi left and all these people left. She left when they went through what they did in 2020 with, Kagetsu retires, Arisa Shiki has to retire, Hana Kimura passes away. Like that, you don't just bounce back from that. You don't. She was the world champion. She sturdied the ship. And then we saw what they did in 2021. We've seen what they've done in 2022. They keep, they're a rocket that just keeps flying and flying. And guess what? This show overall was really a credit to all of that growth that they've had. It doesn't happen without the past 2 years and what they've done. It's just upsetting because she's earned it. She deserved it. But, Kairi is the star. Kairi is the international star, the bigger international star. I'm not saying Mayu's known internationally. It's just Kairi has that WWE fame. I can't sit here and deny that. And I always thought it should have been Mayu because of how much she's meant to Stardom. But once Kairi was put in this tournament, it was hard to think that they wouldn't go with her.
Yeah, it was. When Kyrie came in and a couple months later we hear about the IWGP Women's title, you're like, all right, I think we can see the writing on the wall here. And I think they did, to that point though, you saw the writing on the wall there. And, obviously you're more biased towards Mayu in this spot, but they did a great story and a great showcasing and made it very believable that maybe it actually could be Mayu. I think they did a great job of selling.
Good.
When we previewed started saying the match stuff, I was saying that it kind of could have been anybody. They did a great job really showcasing this idea that maybe it could be Mayu. Maybe Mayu is the person that's going to win this title. Coming out with the red gear, another tease of really selling this idea that no, it actually might not be Kairi. And I think that booking, that well written booking from Rossi That well worked booking there. The constant work in this match, I think, did a really great job of selling that it actually could be Mayu, and there's not a foregone conclusion that Kairi was the winner. Yes, Kairi eventually won, but I think they did an outstanding job really selling that it might actually not be her.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me not to just sit here and be like, well, a lot of this feels like Bushiroad had some say in it, which
The entire
angers me a little
Bushiroad
more.
pay-per-view, basically.
Yeah, I know, angers me a little more, but it's okay. Now Mai doesn't have to be stuck on New Japan cards.
But now she gave her SWA title as well as part of the booking.
I know. That's what sucks. It's like, gotta give up her title. I did all this, and now she's kind of like gotta find her way again. And it's okay. It's okay. We weren't going to talk about Gold Rush, but I'll just give the idea here since, like, Stardom Dream Queendom is going to be another show of the year candidate. We're on our way.
Yeah.
Someone told me that I guess they're doing Kairi and Utami there. Not for the title. Not for the title, because the title's first defense is at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Against Tam.
Yeah.
Which they hinted at earlier in the night. I don't know how many people caught that because so many people were so shocked when she showed up. I was like, Tai Chi literally told her to go get the belt, and she said, "Oh, okay,
yeah,
I'll go get the belt." So whatever. But yeah, it sounds like that might be the match for Dream Queendom. Just tossing that on there, first time ever. Which, boy howdy, as Ryan likes to say. But yeah, that Dream Queendom card, that's the final entry into the show of the years and the match of the years and all that conversation. And right now we are set with Shuri and Julia as their main event. We are also now set with the first WWGP title match with Kairi and Tam on that Wrestle Kingdom show. It's hard to say we're not cooking here in Stardom. I could sit here and be as upset as possible. And I'm going to be upset as possible for the next, foreseeable future. I have to record more podcasts talking about the show, so it's impossible for me not to move on for a while. But they don't know what slowing down means right now. They don't do it. They don't get it. They just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great year for Stardom, and it's like I said, also been well booked as well. This Mali stuff is well booked. You have to think that maybe the guy booking it is a Hall of Fame candidate. I don't know. Maybe that's a conversation another day. Let's talk about the semi main event. I was hoping I would get like a push a button of Scotty with that comment, but it didn't really hold audience.
What'd you say?
I said maybe this well booking deserves a Hall of Fame candidacy for Rossi, but maybe that's a conversation for another day. Maybe convince the people that are against.
He does deserve his candidacy. I saw some articles. I'm not going to point out who talking about what he's done, and they said, "No, I'm not going to do this."
Well, let's move on to the semi-main event. It was Will Ospreay versus Shota Umino for the IWGP US title match. A continuation of this little feud here. Nice little feud here. And they really teased up Shota Umino to begin this match, right? Little promo video being like, the Okada upset.
Switchblade shock. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Really, really leaning into people like us that are like, I'm getting Jay White vibes from this guy, from this entrance. Didn't end up winning, of course, but I think he did a great job, great showcase. A little bit of that babyface fire. We've talked about it before. This guy, anywhere other than England, is real. Well,
oh my God.
Not England. Anywhere other than Rev Pro is really good.
Pretty much England.
This was a really good match. I think this was better than the Royal Quest one.
Yeah, cleared.
And I think they got something here with the Shota fella. I think they got something here.
He's gonna be the ace. I'm willing to say he's going to be the next ace. He just screams confidence, which is shocking because he had 0 in Rev Pro. It felt like at times. He's just a different guy. He's just a completely different guy. He's a different guy even from his other appearances. Like, he shows up in New Japan. I was like, this guy's megastar waiting to happen. He's only gonna get better too. We have to remember that, right? these people that come back from excursion aren't amazing in a day. Jay White took a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to find your mold in these characters. And I hope he gets some sort of decent sized match at Wrestle Kingdom because he's the guy. It's it's undeniable, right? And in this match, when Red Shoes looked like he was going to end it, and Shota's playing up, like grabbing him and getting up, and he's firing up. I was like, yeah, this. They're going to play to this a lot, obviously, and they have to because this is your main event ref.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a main eventer. But yeah, he's they got a good one. They got a good one in Shota.
I agree. And you're talking about Wrestle Kingdom, maybe it's only one show, so maybe they can't necessarily put him in a singles match.
Best match of his career also, by the
way. Yeah. Maybe they can get a singles match for him. I don't know, just because of the card. But
it'll be tough. But
I was gonna say,
Tanahashi, baby.
There's a current former ace or whatever that got an open date right now.
Feels like a layup almost.
It does.
He doesn't even have to beat Tanahashi. If he did, though.
But he could. But he could.
I think that's what they've done with Tanahashi over the past couple of years, is put him in these matches with these younger guys and see how Jay White.
Okada.
He did it with Great O'Khan, but that was different.
Yeah.
Great O'Khan's not that guy. But Shota Umino is. And I hope he gets a showcase match. Him and Ren Narita getting showcase matches in some form on this show is a great thing. I forgot that match is also set for that. Oh my god, that card's insane. But yeah, it's this guy's it. That Will Ospreay guy is pretty good too.
They got some pillars. Now, don't they?
Ospreay's so young.
I look up every once in a while to remind myself how great this guy is I look up what his age is, and it's upsetting every time.
It's funny with Ospreay. I didn't agree that he was the best during his a few years ago.
2019.
Yeah, I thought he still had pieces to put together.
Yeah,
he put every freaking piece together.
Yeah,
and then some. He's doing things that, it's impressive.
29 years old. There's young lions.
He hasn't hit his prime.
There's young lions older than him.
Yeah, isn't Yu Uemura like that age?
Yeah, I think Yota Tsuji might be older. I think Yota Tsuji's 30 something.
Yeah, which is crazy. That's also why Shota Umino is your next ace. By the way, all these guys are already 30. Shota's 24, 25.
Yeah, he's a great talent that's super young that you can easily.
Him and Narita are the guys.
Yeah. I can't wait, baby.
Can we talk the mixed tags last? Can we just go over the rest of the crud first?
Sure, we can do that.
Those felt like the fun matches to finish off with.
Fair enough. Kazuchika Okada, Toriano, and Great Muta defeated Aaron Henare, Great O'Khan, and Jeff Cobb. The article from Wrestling Observer I'm reading right now, the first sentence here, I don't know who wrote it, but I guess the person that wrote it was Chick Fritz. Great name.
Oh, I love Fritz.
They wrote as their opening line, "This was 2022 Muta match, all right." Yeah, this is a 2022 Muta match for sure.
One of my friends were like, "Oh, you must be pumped. You love Muta." I was like, "No, I don't love Muta. I love Muto. Can't stand Muta."
That's yeah.
Exactly how I feel about it, and I could not care less when this match was happening. I was like, "Wow, they really stuck Okada in this."
Yeah, this was. I think the best thing about this match was Jeff Cobb's backstage interview after it.
Oh, my favorite part was when it ended. So yeah, that's fair.
Did you watch the backstage interview?
No, I didn't watch it.
Jeff Cobb, of course, got misted during this match. I believe it was during, not after. And backstage, he cuts a promo on Muta while staring the wall behind him because he can't see at all. And he's just he's just turned around like, How dare you, Muda? I'm gonna get you. God, I can't see anything. Oh, just doing that, for what, a couple minutes or whatever. Just really popping the fans at home. I really enjoyed that.
If he's popping you, that's all that matters. That's how wrestling should go. If you're not popping me, it's point.
Specifically you though, not fan, but you.
Yeah.
But yeah, this match. I mean, what more is there to say? Okada was good. Next up, Akira, Gideon Gray, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, and TJP versus Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Sanada, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naita. A lot of Gideon Gray action in this one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't stand Gideon Gray. Couldn't care less. I did not. Time out. I just saw this pop up. Go to Yu Uemura's Twitter.
Oh God, I'm terrified.
You're not looking for a tweet. Just go to Yu Uemura's Twitter.
All right,
I figured out what he's doing excursion wise.
All right, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, he's been on Impact. He was on the pre-show.
I know he's been on Impact, but I didn't know it was that epic. I didn't know he was going full on.
He is a Impact a wrestler.
You know why they put him there, right? Because they're like, oh, well, we put Okada here, and you guys treated him terribly. So maybe if you treat him terribly, he'll come back as the next days.
Yeah, we'll find out.
But as I saw some people tweeting like, "Oh, he's gone. He signed with Impact Wrestling." I was like, you don't know how excursions work.
He's gonna be there for like a year.
Yeah, good spot.
Yeah,
there's good wrestlers there. I'm okay with it. X Division, probably. Is that what they're putting him? Is that maybe?
Yeah, no, that is. He actually, if I'm not mistaken, he was in the.
He was in the opening match on the pre-show.
He was in the opening match, which I believe was a lot of the people that lost the X Division tournament. No, he's in the X Division title picture. I don't know if he'll win it. He's not going to win it anytime soon, but I think
if they gave it to him.
Yeah, I think down the line that might be him. But we'll talk about Impact more coming up.
Of course we will.
We got to.
Big Impact podcast.
Do you want to talk about this one as well? Natsupoi, Tam Nakano, Taichi, Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeated Momo Watanabe, Starlight Kid, Doki.
I only want to talk about the mixed tags. I don't care about anything else.
Okay. Well, this was a mixed tag.
That's I know. Well, I forgot we talked about the LIJ tag.
Yep.
Because it was so quick that I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, this was fun. El Desperado and Starlight Kid getting to have the matching masks or the dual masks. That was the best part. Also the entrances of Natsupoi, Tam, and Taichi, of course. We had the concert prior to the match, which was fun. This was my least favorite of the mixed tags.
Same.
But I still thought it was very entertaining. Natsupoi used the whiskey. Big pop.
Yeah.
Big pop.
Been teasing it.
I was sitting there. I was like, wait, why are Doki and Kanemaru here? I was like, they have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
But hey, it's okay.
Yeah, but they got something out of Kanemaru to do the whiskey spout.
Yeah, they did. They won me over.
Yeah. Entertaining.
Kanemaru was like just there.
Entertaining, fun tag. I think, maybe you could have expected more hard hitting, but this is not a hard hitting group. Well, one or two of them. There's a couple in here actually.
The women are.
Yeah. Well, I would say Despy a little bit too.
Despy
a little bit
too.
But yeah, that's kind of all we got. But
Kanemaru's past his prime, of course.
Entertaining group here.
Wrestle.
I did skip over the Tanahashi Hayashishita versus Hiroki Goto Micah match, so we'll just swing back there.
That was the best one.
Yeah, I just realized I skipped that. But
Tanahashi did his chop to Micah. Yeah, and then Micah tossed Tanahashi.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. This is why we stan the Ace. This is why. Is why we're standing the Ace over here.
The Ace and Utami, I wanted it to be Mayu and Tanahashi originally when this was all announced because we didn't know there was going to be a IWGP Women's title at the time. I wanted it to be those two and then Okada and Utami, and I still want that match. If they ever do this again, they should just go with that. But Utami and Tanahashi were great together. absolute stars. They rocked out after the match because they won, of course, on the stage. You know, Tanahashi stops Utami at the top, and they're like, "Wait 1 second." Hands her the air guitar, and they just start doing it. I was like, "This is why I watch this shit." It was really good.
Tanahashi knew his role in this
Yeah,
match.
yeah. Tanahashi's great.
Yeah,
shocking. You know, I tweeted out during the match because I was like, like New Japan's pissed me off tonight. And then I wrote, Utami has more world titles than Goto. And people just were like, whoa, hey now, what was that for? I was like, just saying, just want to point it out. But this was actually the best of the three. It was fast paced, hard hitting. I liked that they let the mixed tags kind of break down.
Yeah.
And just let them start chucking at each other once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got back to the basis, but that was fun. You didn't just be like a WWE match where you're like, oh, separation.
Gotta get out of the ring. Get out of here.
Yeah, this was great. This was my third favorite match tonight. I forgot Ospreay and Shota happened.
Yeah, this match was really, really good. Mike,
you said you didn't see it.
I did see this match.
They said you just skipped it. Which one did you skip?
I didn't skip any of them.
What did you
I don't know what you're talking about, my man.
You skipped it in the review.
Yes.
My bad.
Yes.
I was very confused.
Yes.
I was very confused.
This match was good. I thought Michael looked really good here. I love Tanahashi keeping up the idea of, like, you know, just wrestling can just be whatever you want it to be. And I also love that just the continuous year-long feud with Tanahashi and Goto continued once more on this show for some reason.
It did. After not seeing them wrestle for like eons, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna keep putting you two together all of a sudden.
Sure. Maybe that's Wrestle Kingdom. Maybe that's the Wrestle Kingdom match.
That would be so weird.
But yeah, this was another good, fun, solid match.
Tanahashi and Shota versus Goto and Tsuji. That would make way too much sense. They're not going to do that, but that would make way too much sense.
Whether or not they want to bring
Yoda
back
in CMLL now.
He is. I believe he debuted over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
He's just Yota.
Yeah. Julia, Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Shuri and Tom Lawler. I think this was another fun match. Another fun match that you got a lot of fun shenanigans with Julia and Zack Sabre Jr. Fun shenanigans with Tom Lawler, and then you get a little tag team reunion in the middle of this match as well.
They just decided to beat the shit out of Tom.
They're beating. So it's Julia and Shuri hitting each other. Tom's like, no, you can't do that, my partner. And Shuri and Julia are like, no, you can't do that with us. And then just beat the crap out of Tom Lawler.
It was great. Tom, was having the time of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Shuri said after the match, the next time they team up, and I was like, when is that going to be?
That's great. Man.
They both need to wear the Daisy Dukes. And I was like, that's hilarious.
Hey, New Japan strong, baby. Let's do it.
I know. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Yeah. That's what you got from mixed tags, and I think these are the reasons I'm happy if they bring back crossover. Like, this was the whole point of the show. I felt like,
yes,
when Shuri and Julia just started kicking them on the outside, it's so funny. And I was like, man, they're just gonna. And did Julia slap the shit out of Tom? Is that how that started? Because Shuri moved. Yes. Yeah, Shuri.
Yes.
Got brought back by Tom. Julia slapped him, and then they just started attacking.
Because he slapped him, he sold it. Then he got kicked in the leg. Turned around, I was like, "What the hell?" And then got thrown into the ring. Yeah. Got thrown into the turnbuckle.
Zack also said he aspires to be in DDM, and I've never connected with Zack Sabre Jr. more.
I think we all connected Zack Sabre Jr. there. Great chemistry between Zack Sabre Jr. and Julia as well. I thought, this is another great, solid, fun.
Oh, also great when they're leaving after they won, and Zack's doing like I'm gonna let Julia out, and Julia just stops and like, no, you can go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, that sounds like Julia.
They have a good energy. Azumi, Lady C, Saya Kamatani defeated Himeka, Mai Sakurai, and Tekla. What did you think of this short little 6-woman tag?
Good pace, good energy. Way to fit it in.
Mm-hmm.
Tekla and Azumi did some really good stuff.
Yeah. A little high speed 6-person match.
They did that with Natsupoi Kid too at the beginning of that tag match, and I was like, "This is what you got to be putting on these cards. This is what people are going to be like. Oh shit, what am I missing here?"
Because that's the advantage, the difference really between Stardom is that they have the ability to do stuff like that.
Yeah. You know, and Saya, did what we all knew she would, and hit a special, pretty cool move to win. She's undefeated in New Japan matches. Fun fact for you. They put her on all these cards because they want her to do that.
Yes, to win and look great and be like the Bushi
450 person. Phoenix. They finally told her like, hey, you know what? You don't have to do the Phoenix Splash every time, which is nice, because she can do the other one.
Yeah. And I think it's just one of these days she'll be somehow able to pull off like a 630.
Oh Jesus!
And then that's the end of us all. Yeah, I can't wait. Leo Rush, kind of already talked about this earlier. Leo Rush, Tomohiro Ishii, Yoshihashi defeated the team of Dick Togo, Evil Show, and Yujiro Takahashi. Like you said earlier, Leo Rush and Yo have pretty good chemistry, and it made pretty.
Never wrestled together.
Yeah, little tag league preview, and they have good chemistry for people that haven't wrestled before. So it makes me excited for that team going into Super Juniors Tag League tomorrow.
Yeah, them and Ace and Bay are who I'm most looking forward to. Is Teton coming back?
Yes, I believe he is, and he is part of
Junior Tag League's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Kushida and Kevin Knight. That's kind of exciting. I think Kevin Knight's really good too.
I love Kevin Knight. I found that he's from Atlanta.
And
I was like, all right, he just jumped up ahead in my loving Kevin Knight world. All of a sudden,
Lindemann was in this.
Yeah, Lindemann and Alex Zane, if I'm not mistaken, because Alex Zane is weirdly Strong Hearts affiliated.
Oh yeah, because he was in GLEAT that one time.
Yeah, and I think he teamed with Strong Hearts in GLEAT as well.
There'll be a lot of good matches on the show.
Yeah, no, it should be. There's some fun stuff. I don't think it's it's tag league stuff, so people tend to walk away from it. But I think there's some fun stuff, especially in the juniors.
Opening? Leo Rush and Yo versus Akira and TJP tomorrow.
That should be talking about high speed.
Yeah, Teton and Bushi versus Chris Bay and Ace Austin. Oh, we're cooking! We're cooking early. All right, hell yeah! All right, cool.
And then the rest of the show is pre-show stuff. There was the Stardom Rambo, which I thought this was a fun Rambo, but and we're fun Rambo. We're showcasing Mirai again, which I'm not against, but it is what it is. But
she's getting crowned soon.
It's just frustrating as someone that I just love Saida so much, and I just seeing her coming out number 3 and then get I think she was the first one eliminated, was just very disappointing to watch. And why don't we push someone like Saida? Why are we showcasing these has-been wrestlers? Super strong Stardom machine. Why are we showcasing these people when Saida's right there, having to get kicked out of the match early on, just to sit in the back and catering. Why don't we get these old machines out of here? Let's push Saida, for God's sakes. She'll be huge in the States. Bring her over.
For the people at home that don't know what he's talking about, super strong Stardom machine is also Saida.
What?
In a mask.
Huh? Excuse?
I don't mean to ruin the effect.
Scotty, kayfabe, Scotty.
Oh, sorry. I get it. People love Saida. I don't know what you want me. I don't know what you want.
I want you to call up Rossi. I want you to tell him to book Saida in a better spot.
If I'm calling up Rossi, we're having a bigger conversation about bigger things. I'm sorry.
Going back to the conversation about the IWGP Women's. Yeah, look, Rossi, you got to put the title on Kyrie, because you got to get Sasha Banks into this promotion somehow. You entice her with Kyrie.
Bring Sasha Banks to Stardom, then you know what I'll say. It was a good idea. But until that happens, I'm not saying it's a good idea. Yeah, the Rambo's fun. Mm-hmm. Mirai went in at number 1 and won the whole damn thing because, of course, she did.
Who is she, Ric Flair?
Also, in the midst of all of it, I don't know if many people pay attention, but Saki Kashima pinned 7 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
during like one entrance.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening in that ring? I was like, oh, she's eliminating everyone.
Yeah. And who was it that had like a super took forever with their entrance? Was it Tora?
Yeah, she didn't go in.
Yeah,
For
just
like
took
2
forever,
minutes.
and they're like waiting on her to do a spot, if I'm not mistaken. And they're just in the ring, just stuck there, like, all right, come on. Fun little match. And then the other pre-show match here was LA Dojo, Gabriel Kidd, Alex Coughlin, and Kevin Knight. Clark Connors defeated the team of Yoto Nakashima, Rohei Iwa, Kosei Fujita, and the new young lion, Oscar Leub.
Big bald guy.
Big bald guy. Tall bald guy. Didn't realize how tall he truly was. But what did you think of... I'm not going to ask because we all know what we thought of this match. It was a fun match. But what did you think of Oscar here as the newest young lion? Obviously, super green. First match officially. But what did you think of Oscar here?
I thought he was fine. I thought the LA Dojo looked great,
Mm-hmm.
especially. I thought they looked awesome.
I felt he had a good intensity.
Yeah, for sure. It felt like us against them, which
Mm-hmm.
we know that's Gabriel Kidd's mindset, anyways. So,
Mm-hmm.
not shocking.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. Thought it was a lot of fun, which is kind of what you want with these matches. You don't ask for a lot. You just want them to go out there and deliver a fun little opener. And Kevin Knight's gonna be a star, by the way.
Do you think, I had this thought while watching it, do you think that the LA Dojo team group faction is going to slightly stunt the star building of all these LA Dojo guys? Or do you like do you feel like there is a star amongst the pack right now? It really feels like a group of guys in the LA Dojo faction.
Yeah, I think Clark could be something.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's starting to show that. And any time he's gotten the opportunity, he has shown that as of late. But I definitely do think the idea of a faction of a bunch of guys that train together can hurt them all, because you kind of want to supplant yourself among the best of that group.
Yeah,
and like that's kind of what Yu is doing, right? He's left that in a lot of ways to go and work in other companies, and they don't really do that. Gabe Kidd goes to Rev Pro.
Yeah, but that's
about it
because he lives there,
right?
Yeah.
Kevin Knight's still a legitimate young lion, so I think he doesn't really matter right now. He's still going all black trunks and stuff.
Yeah,
but like Clark Connors, Alex Coughlin, they could get stuck if they don't move on, try something else, right? So I think that's a good question, and we'll have to see if they keep that up, because I don't know, I feel like you should just be doing showcases between them, not them teaming.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's necessarily doing it now. It's just a fear, a potential question fear that I have.
Yeah, because
it's in the back of my head.
Technically, what, 3 of them are graduated?
Yeah, we got Coughlin, Connors. I guess
Gabe Kidd is too.
Gabe Kidd, Carl Fredericks, technically. And he, and maybe that was something he feared as well, because he called himself the Lone Wolf. Maybe that's something he feared as well.
It'd be one thing if they were doing this as all young lions, but 3 of them aren't young lions anymore. So that's when it starts to hurt. So yeah, I think that's a good question. I think that they're a good group for sure. The LA Dojo group here, a lot of talent, but you gotta have to take some risks here, get away from each other, bet on yourselves, but not to the point of Carl Fredrickson leaving.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see how that all unfolds, if it unfolds at all.
Are they all in tag league?
All that LA Dojo people. Let me pull up the tag league participants here, because
I got it right here.
Perfect.
Who do we got? Kevin Knight's with Kushida. Clark Connors is with Taguchi.
Great.
Which is funny.
That's a fun butt group. I remember them having a fun match in the Super Junior. I mean,
Gabe Kidd and Alex Coughlin are together.
Makes sense.
So there you go.
All right. I think that's all of them. I think that was all 4 of those
I
guys.
think that is all of them. So, 2 of them are two. It's not like they put Connors and Knight together. They're going with someone to learn from, right? So,
Yeah. Well,
I think that's good.
When Kushida has to lose a match, someone has to take the fall.
Yeah, but I mean, having Kevin Knight learn from Kushida is great.
I agree. I completely agree. Well, let's move on. Let's finish up the show out here with Impact Overdrive. Happened. It was Impact Plus show last Friday.
Everyone just shut off the show.
So let's get a pulse check. Let's get a vibe check real quick. How are you after watching this Impact Overdrive show? How are you with Impact currently? We're always, unlike the NWA, where we have now officially sworn them off the year, never not to return for next year. How's Impact still feeling at with Impact? Give me a vibe check.
Now, it's funny I said that because the first pay-per-view of the year next year is going to kill me because of the main event already.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I thought about this today while I was watching. By the way, I did not get to watch the main event. I did not have time.
All right.
Which stinks because I've seen the hype for it. I've been told by multiple people to watch it, which I will. I will probably watch it tonight. But Impact for me is like, you know how everyone like has an indie company that they love watching, like
West Coast Pro, Defy,
right? Like they get excited, like that's their like little company they get excited for. I think that's what Impact is for me, because like anytime they have a big show, I do get kind of excited because there's usually at least 1 or 2 matches on there.
Yeah,
like this is Impact to me is what GCW probably is to a lot of people. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. In that I have interest
in a different way, of course. In a different way.
I follow along because it's interesting to me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to watch every show, but I'm going to try to keep up because I do think Impact has a lot to offer, despite them booking themselves into scenarios I don't necessarily love all the time.
Yes.
But I watch I watch parts of this show. And it's like there's so much good here.
Yeah.
That they can kill it whenever they want, it feels like. And I thought the show, Overdrive on paper wasn't necessarily the best card they've put together. Mm-hmm. But they had some pretty good matches.
Yeah, no, it was it's what Impact has going for it currently is
I just feel like they never pick the right winners.
I agree. I think what Impact has going for it currently is a low bar of expectations, and they have enough talent and people in there to be able to constantly oversee that low bar. Now, that's a good thing in some eyes, that's a bad thing in others, but I think you're right in the sense of like you sort of view it as like an indie where you're not really like don't treat Impact like the major company that some people feel like it is for some reason.
Yeah,
it's not. It's at best a minor company,
like the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, it's you're keeping up with it, watching the big shows every once in a while. I like watching the TV every once in a while as well. I'm behind on it currently because the Bully Ray stuff is ugh. But it is this idea of just it being there serves a good purpose, and I see what you're saying with that GCW comparison, and obviously serving a different master than GCW, and what they do, but it serves it can serve that itch of WWE style booking, but with better wrestlers. Sometimes maybe that's what that is on a slower minor scale than that WWE scale, but because it's a little grimier, a little dirtier.
They're hurt by their own decisions. That's what they're hurt by.
Oh yeah, that's always been the thing of Impact. You always got to keep them at arm's length,
right? And they'll say, "Oh, well, it's Impact, so I don't care," and like they do it to themselves ultimately. Mm-hmm. Because they have a lot of talent. They've had a lot of good matches this year. I was thinking about this yesterday when I was watching the show. It's like comparing them to WWE in some ways. In terms of pay-per-views, and I don't watch full Impact pay-per-views. I never do because there's just matches I want to skip. But
you didn't tell me you didn't watch the opener?
I don't even know what it was.
I'll get to it.
But I've probably had equal enjoyment in some ways.
Mhm.
Now, I think WWE's highs have been higher, but in terms of like the matches I'm watching from each,
Yeah.
Impact gives me a good base. I'm not watching the Bully Ray stuff, so it's like, but like they've made stars this year. Steve Macklin's a guy that I never thought I'd enjoy. Love the dude. Think he's great. Think he's a star in the making. The X Division, I've said it all year. It's one of the best parts of wrestling for me most of the time. And now I'm going to have my problems with the X Division after as I talk about the show. But there's a lot to like because they have good relationships. They have good roster members. There's still things I wish they would fix, but like you said, keep it at arm's length and you can enjoy Impact for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about that main event. The main event, of course, was, and we'll quickly go through it since I was the only one that watched it. Time reasons, sleep reasons. Impact World Champion Josh Alexander defeated Frankie Kazarian to retain that World Championship. Match is getting a lot of praise. I don't think I'm as high as it as others were.
Never are. I never saw. I couldn't begin to tell you if the praise is ridiculous or not.
That's fair, but this match was really good. It's the classic. The reason I think I'm down on them more than other people is because Impact main event had the classic thing of 5 less minutes. That's all I ask. Just 5 less minutes. I think it was like a 32-minute match here. Yeah, 33-minute match here. So a little long for my liking. Just the sweet spot, right? Slightly sub 30. That's sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
So it just but that's my own personal taste. But other than that, this match was great work. Really hard hitting, really well worked psychology in the match.
Frankie was good.
It was very good. Frankie did a great job. He punched Josh Alexander so hard that his headgear came off. So that was fun.
Josh has been excellent.
Yeah, he's really good. And I thought Kazarian was a really good ring general to bring out more of that in Josh Alexander. Really well worked from these guys, just knocking each other a little. There's that little bit there. The story is that the dual stories they've actually been telling, the yin and yang sort of stories they've been telling with Frankie Kazarian and Bully Ray. Is both guys saying that they want to do everything they're doing with respect and honor and doing things the right way. And when Kazarian got to the mat, he had an opportunity to maybe win this match. The referee was down. They're on the outside. Frankie Kazarian was holding the belt.
Down this weekend.
Oh yeah, the Frankie Kazarian was holding the belt like. I could knock out Josh Alexander and win this right now. And he was really struggling with it. He decided against it, pushed him back in the ring. They fought a little bit more, and ultimately Frankie Kazarian lost. So he was very frustrated about that, but Josh and him shared a signature of respect. So it was a very well-worked, good match. That yin-yang aspect I spoke about, you have Frankie Kazarian think about it, struggle with it, and ultimately decide, no, I am going to do it the right way. Bully Ray cut an interview right before this match saying that, I'm going to do things the right way. I'm going to, I'm giving my intention, call your shot. I'm calling it hard to kill. That's my intention, whoever wins this match. After the match, Bully Ray comes out, says it was a well-worked match, a really great match between Josh Alexander and Frankie Kazarian. Very respectful, does things the right way. Josh Alexander goes to celebrate with his son, celebrate with his wife. Bully Ray turns heel. Bully Ray comes over, sideswipes Josh Alexander, and beats up Josh Alexander for a bit. He then zip tied Josh Alexander to the bottom rope. Then pulled Josh Alexander's wife over the guardrail and did all that stuff. Alexander did break free, so that was cool. Bully Ray turned full on heel, full on ass here. That's our hard to kill main event, folks, in January. So get into it.
Is why you can't tell people to go watch Impact. It really is, because they're gonna see this and laugh at you.
Have a currently a 9-star, no, not 9-star, 9 point something rated match on Cage Match, and then the main event angle afterwards is Bully Ray.
It's almost like I can't tell you to watch it because you're gonna see that and be like, what did you just make me do?
Well, it's also the frustration of Josh Alexander currently. The story with the guy right now is he has been going through Impact quote unquote legends for the past little bit. They're presenting him as the future of Impact, beating Moose doesn't really count, but beating Frankie Kazarian, Daniels, and part of that lineage sadly is Bully Ray, and he's the next person. Saban is the part of that history. Shelley, Ishii.
Did he beat Shelley?
I think he did beat Shelley. Ishii is part of that lineage.
No, that was just for fun.
Yeah, but this idea of he's going through the lineage of Impact that is available right now, and sadly Bully Ray is also available and part of that lineage. So to be able to tell the story with Josh Alexander, for some reason we have to go down the Bully Ray road. And will I be there at Hard to Kill Live? We'll find out.
The credit I'll give Josh Alexander is that he's made the best of matches I've doubted him in, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not doubted him, but doubted the match, right?
Yeah.
So I had doubt heading into that Eric Young match. That was really good. Had doubt going to that Eddie Edwards match. Thought that was one of the best Impact matches of the year.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen Eddie be Eddie in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I'll feel the same way after this Frankie Kazarian match. It's just,
yeah,
he is almost designed like a puro world champion.
Yes,
in the way that his matches go, but man, does he not have that much help. If that makes sense, like,
yeah, the irony of him going through the lineage of Impact Wrestling roster is anyone beyond that
use their roster. That's their problem.
Yeah,
they'll always be their problem.
Well, like they're intending for his Josh Alexander's journey to be, going through this group of guys, going through that history, going through that lineage. But while you're doing that, you're doing basically Monster of the Week for Josh Alexander. But who's the next guy, right? This is all great and cool and stuff, but eventually you have to have a next guy, and who's that guy? Who's that guy in Impact?
It should be Steve Maclin.
I agree, but he lost the Call Your Shot gauntlet to Bully Ray, and he's now feuding with like Tommy Dreamer. So I don't. He's on ice right now. He's on ice right now. So
he should have been. He should be the guy being built up to beat Josh, and I think he will be. Mm-hmm. But putting him on ice is always risky, and they did that with Josh too. They put Josh on ice.
They did.
It is what it is.
Is what it is. Semi-main event Impact Knockouts Championship match. Jordynne Grace defeated Masha Slamovich in a last knockout standing match to retain the title.
Hell of a weekend for women's wrestling, folks. Hell of a weekend. I didn't talk about Gold Rush, but Stardom did their damn thing. We talked about Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter doing the damn thing. Jordynne Grace and Masha Slamovich did the damn thing.
Yeah.
Great last woman standing match. You and me have talked about this recently. Like these last person standing matches usually stink or are just not creative anymore. You know what they did? Ryan? They just beat the crap out of each other, and that's how the match ended. That's what they did. Very simple. The muscle buster through the door. Insanity. Masha, the only problem I have with this match is that they didn't put the title on Masha.
Mm-hmm.
My only problem. Because now it's like, oh, you built her up and then you just push her to the side. Masha's so good. She's so good.
They put her to the side, but I think this feud has given her enough. She's still like a rookie.
She can be a baby face.
Maybe, yeah.
She's gonna be a babyface champion, I think now.
She's still a rookie very much in the Impact audience's eyes. So I think this match proved enough of her. You know, because right before this, she was feuding with Madison Rayne, Tenille Dashwood, and Giselle Shaw. You know, so I think two of them are gone. So I think this idea of like this was a feud to help establish Masha Slamovich to the audience.
And losing last one standing isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. Especially
they've had 3 fantastic matches now, because the PWG one supposedly was even better than the Bound for Glory one per Dave.
I'll be the judge of that, Dave. What do you know about matches, Dave?
You might know something. I don't know. But these two have great chemistry. Jordan Grace has really improved as a wrestler. Yeah, I mean, the sad part is the road is to Mickie James versus Jordan Grace, which is just ridiculous, but whatever.
Yeah. We'll
see. Nick Aldis in this company, huh?
Ooh, Nick Aldis versus Josh Alexander. Maybe that's the move.
That makes sense.
Maybe Nick Aldis is the move.
Brace for Impact. That's one of the shows one of the podcasts I listen to weekly with
JD, right?
And Mike. Yeah. They're really good. That's how I keep up with Impact now, because I'm not watching TV shows, obviously. But they're really good because they tell me what's good and what's bad, because they don't, they're not going to just sit there and be like Impact saviors or whatever. But they brought up the Nick Aldis thing and how he could be that guy for Josh, since there's no big clear heel to beat him. And I was like, that is a good one.
Yeah.
As Nick Aldis, though, not as Magnus. Comes in as Nick Aldis.
Yeah, no, I don't think they'll be doing the Magnus gimmick.
Pretty funny though.
Nick Aldis.
Brutus Magnus.
Next up down the card, Trey Miguel defeated Black Taurus to officially end the tournament for the Impact X Division title. So it is Trey Miguel, your new X Division champion. This tournament really showcased the greatness that Black Taurus is. And for some reason, they went with Trey Miguel again. I don't know why. But he turned heel. That's why, I guess. What do you think? You're deflated.
I was very deflated, man.
You deflated.
I didn't get to watch the match live or anything. I saw the graphic and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you do that? I was like, why? You had it perfectly built, and then you did that, and then I saw how, and I was like, really? The match was really good, and then it just sunk. It sunk when they did the way they did. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, the finish there was Trey Miguel spray painting the eyes of Taurus and getting the win there in that lightning spiral.
It feels like the end goal is to crown him.
Maybe.
I think. Maybe. I don't really know. This is Impact. I can't stress that enough. I never really know what the end goal is. But it should be. It should be. He's a stud, man. He's an absolute stud. And, Trey's been good. I watched a couple Trey matches this past week. I watched Trey versus Swerve.
Sure.
I don't know that.
Probably a revolver match.
I don't think it was Trey versus Swerve.
Okay.
Swerve faced Myron Reed. Never mind. Wrong rascal. That was great. What's Trey and someone? Oh, Alex Shelley.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
And that's what's weird. They had a lot of falls.
Yeah, because they had an Iron Man match in Revolver, right? It was like a 30-man.
Yeah, they had like 10 total falls in the last 10 minutes. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Rascals matches recently, and I do have to say he's improved a lot. As an overall wrestler. So like him as champion is not a bad thing. It's just, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a different skin, obviously, because he's now heel. So it's interesting. I don't think he's been heel for maybe his entire Impact run. I don't recall the Rascals ever being heels.
No. I also learned they never won tag titles, and I'm stunned.
No, never did.
That's criminal.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. I think just this idea of, we're gonna try something new here with Trey Miguel, and we'll see if it pans out. We'll see how it works. Maybe eventually Taurus wins a title. Who the heck knows? I think this tournament ultimately elevated Taurus a little bit, but they went with Trey Miguel, so it is what it is. Moving right along, because we're running out of time here. It was Impact World Tag Team Title match. Heath and Rhino defeated the major players, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. It was well worked, but it was nothing too crazy. Nothing too. I was not into it. It was well worked, but I was like, all right, this was totally fine. Nothing that I came away with that was very exciting. Next match, which was Mickie James versus Taylor Wilde. Did you watch this one?
No.
Okay, good. This I didn't really like this one as well. I thought it was fine. We're continuing the last ride with Mickie James, and she was able to get the win here. I think the more interesting thing was the post-match, where Deonna Purrazzo walked out to the ring and said that James wasn't in Impact, a better than Knockouts division, that she was basically selfish, and she wanted to make it all about her by doing this whole last ride thing. She blamed Mickie James for causing Chelsea Green, her friend, to leave, and that James was the one person that she had never beaten. So she is looking to end the career of Mickie James. So Deonna Purrazzo versus Mickie James is coming up down the line. Maybe that's hard to kill. And, maybe I'm into watching that live. So we'll see.
Why is Deonna still in this company?
I don't know. It does look like, if we're doing this, that maybe she's staying in this company, or maybe she'll leave after this match. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is.
She felt AEW bound to me.
But, yeah, I mean, I guess the question is,
marry Steve Macklin.
So. She did marry Steve Macklin, so that was part of it. I mean, I guess there are spoilers out there, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they did a taping. I don't actually see any spoilers, so I don't. Maybe they didn't actually do a taping. Maybe I was wrong.
They did a recording.
That's what I thought they did, but I can't see it anywhere. Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, the Death Dolls. Taya Valkyrie and Jessica defeated Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. Scotty, did you watch this one?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought. If you want to see a match that makes Taya Valkyrie look good, watch this one. But
all right,
Taya Valkyrie was the best person in this match, is what I'm going to say to that.
That's
Tasha Steelz I didn't think was that good. Savannah Evans is not that good. Jessica is not good. And then the opening match, I'm shocked that you might not have watched this, Scotty. Tables match between Moose and Bully Ray.
I saw it. I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah,
there's no way. There's no way I could do it.
It was your classic Bully Ray booking and match layout of her tables match. The finish, closing finish area was Moose moved Ray, and basically
consistent.
Yeah, basically Bully Ray fell into a table and it broke, but the referee didn't count it because Moose wasn't the agitator really and causing Bully Ray to do it. Because if anyone the thing that Bully Ray loves about matches is technicalities, and the technicality of Moose not really being the one to put Bully Ray through the table is what caused Moose to think he won, but ultimately he didn't, and ultimately Bully Ray would put Moose through a table. Because that's what's the best about wrestling matches, are when you have to stop the match halfway through and argue about a technicality about the rules. So, because that's what we all love. We all love rules. We're big rule heads in wrestling. At the end of the day, big rule heads. That's what I love. You hold that tag rope. How dare you? You didn't push up to the table. That doesn't count. She got in at 9. She didn't get in at 9, 10. No, she got counted out. No, it didn't count. You don't have your manager's license. You can't be here. Technicalities and rules. We all live and breathe by them. We're all into overdrive mode with rules. that fun? Was that Impact? I think that's it for the show as well, Scotty.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
I tried to find your Impact tapings.
Maybe they didn't have
no one
it.
Posted them.
You did find most of them?
It was supposed to happen the night of Full Gear, but yeah.
Full Gear. There was a match I actually didn't watch that I believe you watched, so I just want to get your thoughts on it. It was the tag match on the pre-show, Motor City Machine Guns versus Bullet Club, Chris Bay and Ace Austins. If I'm not mistaken, I believe you watched this one.
I did. Both teams are really good, so this was a lot of fun for the, it wasn't long, obviously. But Motor City Machine Guns really good. The Bullet Club duo is really good. Need more of them being good. I think they actually got a title match from this, which was supposed to be on the tapings as well.
I believe so. I believe they got a title match out of this as well, because they were sitting ringside during the World Tag Title match with Heath and Rhino. So I think you're right. I think they did get a sort of title match out of this, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool. All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, that is it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio Nights. Thank you, everybody, for listening to it. You can follow us on Twitter, on social media. Follow me at Ryan Knightsey. Follow Scotty at Scott E Wrestling. Follow the whole program at Countout Pod. We got a bunch of other great shows on the network. So go check out all of them on the Countout Wrestling Podcast Network. Ring Post Radio is wherever you get podcasts. You can subscribe to it. Please, we would greatly appreciate if you can subscribe to make sure you get the show every time it hits your feed. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/countoutpod. If you want to hear our AEW Full Gear thoughts immediately after it happened, you can listen to them on the Patreon, patreon.com/countoutpod. Again, it's available on all tiers, $1, $5, $10. You can listen to our thoughts there, but obviously you get a lot more stuff at the $5 tier, a lot more stuff in the $10 tier. $1 tier is just a little sexy little preview. Is that something? I don't like sexy little preview. A little tease for that. I guess it's a sexy little preview is a tease. Anyways, Scotty, any plugs for the fine folks at home? And what was your match of the week that we didn't discuss? So good luck, bud.
Match of the week, Shuri versus Tommy from Gold Rush, easily. Maybe my second favorite match they've ever had. Actually, definitely my second favorite match they've ever had behind the big one, which is impressive. Plugging, just follow me at Scott E Wrestling. I have some interviews coming out. And
we lost your audio just that last bit there. I don't know what happened there.
I accidentally pressed the space bar, so yeah. Well, that's it. Goodbye. So long.
Well, I was also going to say, follow us on Instagram, just in case.
Yeah. Twitter explodes.
Yeah. Do you want to plug your Instagram? Do you know what their Instagram handle is?
It's the same exact thing as Twitter.
Scott E Wrestling. Yep. Yeah. We're on Instagram. Countout Network is where we're at on Instagram. My match of the week. I've basically plugged the whole shows, but my match of the week, this will be a slight plug, but also a good match of the week here. I've been really enjoying the Wrestling 101 article series coming from Voices of Wrestling, or basically they're going over the matches that are not necessarily the best matches in the world, but are some of the most pivotal, important matches as a wrestling fan to sort of get that scope of wrestling fandom. I really enjoy stuff like that. Top 10 articles are fine and all, but having that sort of like, oh, here's a match that you should watch that felt very important at the time. And I watched one of those matches and I greatly enjoyed it. It was a Big Fight Series 2 night. This is a 1981 New Japan match, Scotty. It was a gauntlet match, 5-on-5 gauntlet match. On one side, you have the heels, Animal Hamaguchi, Isamu Teranishi, Kuniaka Kobayashi, Yoshiaki Yatsu, and Riki Choshu, taking on the team of Yoshiaki Fujiwara, Tatsumi Fujinami, Nobuhiko Takeda, Kengo Kimura, and of course, the great one, Antonio Inoki. It was a fantastic gauntlet match, Scotty. I will tell you this much. For it being 65 minutes long, you will not believe that how the audience, this 1981 audience, was completely into it the entire 65 minutes.
Yeah,
Completely on board.
I've seen some old matches that are about an hour where the crowd's just absolutely out of their minds.
Yeah, every wrestler did their job perfectly. It's not on. I should say it's not on New Japan World. The finals of it, the final one-on-one match, which is Riki Choshu versus Inoki, which is also a very good one-off aspect of this match. That's on New Japan World. The full one is out there. He's got to do some searching. It's a very, very, very good match. Very great match. So definitely go check that one out if you got a moment. But that is it for everyone here at Ring Post Wrestling. I was going to say, Scott, that's going to do everything for us here at Scotty Edwards. That's going to be everybody thing. Well, thank you everybody for listening to Ring Post Radio. We appreciate it very much. Next week, we'll be back with an all-new episode reviewing Survivor Series. Previewing nothing, I think. I have to update my events page. I think it's really
is next week.
I think really all we have on the docket right now is Survivor Series. So, we'll get the correspondence from Scotty in the room.
Thanksgiving Dynamite.
Yeah, we do have a thing. We do have the Thanksgiving Dynamite, baby.
We have. Anytime we don't have something, we just we'll talk about that.
Yeah, it tends to be a good thing to talk about. And this week, looking like it's a good thing to talk about. So we might talk about that. There we go. But thank you everybody for listening. We'll see you all next week.